Carolina has a touchdown.
They're like, oh, well, we need real players. Oh, okay. So, you need a quarterback? Sure.
Another opportunity, spins out of a sack, throws it to the back of the end zone. He's got his man. Touchdown, New Orleans.
He's gone. To the 30. He's gone, baby. My goodness. Somebody cool off that man's feet because they're on fire.
This is going to explode big time.
The SFL Network on Twitch welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Welcome to Houston, Texas. Simulation Football League Week 12 action rolls on Saturday afternoon as the Mexico City Aztecs bring their high-flying, #1 scoring offense to bear against the Houston Hyenas, who are looking to take their second-place total defense head-to-head with the Aztecs and cause an upset as Mexico City tries to vie for home field advantage in the playoffs. Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Torillo, and it's the pleasure to have the company of Eric Vincent in the booth with me. Eric, it's a pulling double duty today on the commentary, but happy to have you along.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. And man, I had to take the jumbo. I don't even know what we called it. It was a limousine jet something or other. But man, we were zorching down I-10 all the way here to Houston, and it was a fun ride.
Matt Wilson and the Aztecs are 8-2, have the top offense in the Simulation Football League, and Houston is right there with them on the defensive end, #2 in total defense. You know Eddie Gage and company are going to be fired up and ready to go. Don't go anywhere. The SFL. We are just about set to go. The kicker for Houston is Matthew Flynn. Deep to return. The kick for Mexico City is Jeffrey Daggs. The ball is on the tee. The kicker's hand is in the air. The chat is going crazy. It's game on from Houston, and the second half of our doubleheader is underway. Jeffrey Daggs takes it from the 10-yard line up to the 20. Spin move out to the 29-yard line. That's where the Aztecs will start. And this team's offense is a well-oiled machine, and here are the moving parts of that machine. Quarterback, Matt Wilson. Ray Bentley is the running back. Tight end is Mike Daggs, and the wide receivers are K.L. Barrett, Richard Montague, and Mac Gibbs. Wilson under center, offset eye, and a single receiver out left is K.L. Barrett. Here's a handoff to Bentley up the middle, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and no more great collapse from the Houston defense. Here are the Hyenas defenders. On the defensive line, it's Scott Subtile, Chad Tackle, and Mike Johnson. The linebackers are B.J. Lovelace and Rodney Panati. Corners, Aiden Davis and Everett Garrison, and safeties, Anthony Wyo and Eddie Gage. Second down and 10, 3 receivers for Mexico City. It's another handoff to Bentley, and Bentley breaks a tackle and gets 4. It'll be third down and 6.
And Houston came out and said that they wanted to stop Ray Bentley today, and they have a very impressive rush defense as well. Houston does. Coming into the game today, averaging 58.3 yards on the ground. That's all that they've allowed per game, which is good for first in the SFL.
Wilson to throw for the first time today, complete over the middle, but short of the line. Again is Mac Gibbs, the Week 7 signing. And it'll be a 3-and-out forced by Houston on the first drive as the Aztecs come up 2 yards short. And here's their punter, Henry Hako, the Week 9 signing. So players going from couch to field all over the gridiron in today's matchup.
Always good to see the new signings as well. And man, that was a great 3-and-out there by the Houston defense. to start things off. And we might be seeing an upset here, Michael. You got to stay tuned.
We were talking before the game about how this could potentially be a trap game for Mexico City with Tallahassee in the final week of the season on the horizon and really needing to win out to have a chance at a home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
And Houston, obviously, on the outside looking in right now with a 3-7 record. They're doing everything they can to tread water and keep their head above float in this playoff race. Not 100% that they're even going to get in, even if they win out, but they got to do their job today against Mexico City.
Here's a check down, and yards will be lost by Warren Murray. Here is the offense for the Hyenas. Quarterback is Kentez Johnson. The running back is Warren Murray. Wide receivers Leroy Brown, Tony Giesland, and D.R. Sim, and tight end Dante Woodson. Just a single receiver to each side. Johnson under center, Murray behind him. 4 down front for the Aztecs, and here comes the blitz, and Murray runs away from it and has a lane down the left-hand side, and he's got a first down out to midfield.
And this is the strong point here for this Houston offense. Warren Murray coming in and has a ton of yards on the ground. They are 6th in the league currently, averaging 109.2 yards on the ground, so they certainly want to get him involved early and often.
Warren Murray at 1,000-yard rusher on the season with 2 weeks to go. Here's a check down to Murray, and he's going to be bottled up and lost a yard back to the 49. Good pursuit of the football by Julio Diggs. Here's the Mexico City defense. On the defensive line, it's Guapo Esteban and Thurgood Jenkins. Linebackers Nick Daggs, John Adams, and Julio Diggs, who just made that tackle. Corners Han Tayumi and Fran Ogawa, and safeties Jeffrey Daggs and Pablo Zamora. On 2nd and 11, here's I formation with 3 receivers. Murray again, brought down from behind, another loss of 1. Number 98 got in there and made the stop. That's Ace Ebb. And it's going to be a 3rd and long situation for the Hyenas.
Yeah, and a good job getting in there and just making that ankle tackle, making sure he goes down. Very impressive so far here from both sides. We'll have to see what Houston does here on 3rd and long.
Long pass from Johnson. It's caught, and down the field is Leroy Brown, and he's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Hyenas, and they take the lead.
And he's bad, Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town as he goes downtown into the end zone here. Let's get another look at the replay as Kentez just airs this one out. Easily beats his man off the line and then squirts through the 2 would-be tacklers into the end zone. And man, this is exactly what the doctor ordered if you're Houston trying to play upset today.
We in Houston or Nashville? A little bit of music on a Saturday afternoon, courtesy of Eric Vincent. And the Houston Hyenas are dancing all the way to the end zone as they've got the potentially 7-0 lead. Here's the kick from Matthew Flynn, the Week 9 addition to this Hyenas roster. It is up and through. So with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first quarter, Houston 7, Mexico City nothing. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. And besides the long bomb for the touchdown, which was very impressive, it was impressive stand by the Mexico City defense there for the first, 5 or 6 plays of that drive. Here's the return, out past the 30 to the 31. And my final point on that is that they really did not let Warren Murray get going at all.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I was going to touch on. I know that Jeffrey Daggs is a very electric returner, so I was waiting to see if maybe he broke one there just to even things up right away. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Michael. They did a great job there bottling up Warren Murray. He had one big run to start things off. Other than that, not so much. A little bit inexplicable, honestly, that they allowed that long touchdown pass, so we'll have to see how they respond on offense.
Ray Bentley bottled up and driven backwards 3 yards. This is what Eddie Gage, the defensive coordinator for Houston, wanted to see. Hats to the football when Ray Bentley touches it.
Yeah, and great pursuit. They did a great job recognizing Ray Bentley was getting the ball. Obvious rundown, 1st and 10, as they get the kick return there. So knowing that they have the rundown right there in pursuit to the football, that's what matters there on defense.
They're going to try to get Bentley going in the passing game, get the yards lost back and a couple more. Another 3rd and long situation, though. It's 3rd and 7 from the 34, and potentially Houston could force 2 3-and-outs in a row here.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make it another 3-and-out. Very impressive on the last defensive front here. We'll see what they do, but they've definitely bottled up Ray Bentley so far. It's going to have to be Matt Wilson, the Hall of Famer, showing up now.
Bentley on the sideline in a 5-wide set, and down the middle of the field is Mike Daggs. He really is the danger man in these kind of situations. He'll just shrug defenders off of him like he did there.
And Mike Daggs is a big boy. Like, you don't want to mess with this guy. 6'7", 265, and he's got speed on top of everything else. Able to squeeze through there and find a little bit of a hole in coverage, making it out to midfield, and that extends the drive for the Aztecs.
One of the most dynamic tight ends we have in the league, Mike Daggs. He's got, coming into the game, over 750 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. Handoff, Bentley looking for a lane, gets a block, and gets 7 yards, and that's more of Ray Bentley's speed. Here's and he's a little bit slow to get up. He will eventually get back to his feet and jog to the huddle. But an interesting stat about Ray Bentley, as they mostly used him in the passing game at the beginning of the season, and been getting involved more in the run as the season has gone on. 2nd and 3 from the Houston 43. First play in plus territory for the Aztecs. Down the field, caught, and Montague down to the Houston 23. Forgive me, that was not Montague. That was Mike Daggs again.
And Mike Daggs might be this secret weapon here in the offense. I think they might have wanted to see what they could do with Ray Bentley to start things off. Hasn't looked good so far. Maybe they're kind of looking and seeing what's available out there, and Mike Daggs is wide open on a couple different plays there.
Inside the 25, down to the 23. Wilson, 2-step drop flotation over the middle. Daggs has his 3rd straight reception for 8 yards. He was hit hard over the middle of the field by Panani.
Yeah, but again, Mike Daggs, big target there. It's going to take more than one big hit to knock him out of this ball game. It's going to take quite a bit.
Wilson with the offset eye on 2nd and 2. Only a 4-man rush for the Hyenas. He gets it out to Bentley in the flat, and Bentley picks up a first down. The stat I wanted to mention about Bentley is that last game he had 25 carries for 159 yards in a 45-30 barn burner win against Sioux Falls, and that was his most carries of the season. Also picked up 3 rushing touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on that as well, he's got 12 touchdowns through the air, but he also has, 12 on the ground and 11 through.
This could be another one through the air as he gets one in the flat, and he spins away from a tackle and almost gets away from 2. He gets 9 yards down to the 3. Couldn't quite get the first down, and a touchdown-saving ankle tackle out there from B.J. Loveless, I think, was in coverage, and Aiden Davis was out there as well.
We held your breath a little bit on that play. You were expecting him to just find a way to get into the end zone. Maybe we'll see it on this play.
Bentley sheds a tackle and gets into the end zone for the Mexico City touchdown. You couldn't keep him down for long. Mr. MVP is in the house.
13th rushing touchdown on the season, and that one was fairly easy, just breaking the one-on-one opportunity there and able to get himself into the end zone. And Ray Bentley's very good from close distance, so you don't want to mess with him there.
The kicker is Cole Vaughter. He's on to try the extra point. Kick is up and good. So with 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first, Mexico City responds with a drive of their own and ties the game. Houston 7, Mexico City 7. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. The upcoming broadcast schedule, man, it's just great, fantastic football games all weekend long. As you look at the Sunday slate, Atlanta in a fight for their playoff lives against Oklahoma City, who's been playing some decent football of late. Seattle is still trying to stay in the race for the number 1 seed, and more epic matchups along the way this weekend as a first return for Josh Fenn for Houston as he takes it up to the 20-yard line.
And Michael, this is a tough contest here between these two teams early on. I know that you weren't necessarily expecting that. I was thinking that maybe it was going to be a back and forth. We'll have to see who wins the bet that we made there.
Now, it's going to be which defense can stop which offense, and right now, neither one is really showing off. And here's a run from Murray up the middle for 4. Houston does have the second best total defense in the Simulation Football League. It's the old adage of the unstoppable force against the immovable object.
We'll have to see which immovable object on which offense ends up being the big-time gainer here.
Murray gets a block, sheds a tackle, spins out of a second tackle. And number 21 has impressed me so far today. First down up to the 39.
He came out to play, didn't he? As you're kind of getting another look at the replay. Good blocking right up front there. A little ISO play. Gets a decent block from his fullback as Zamora is still able to try and make the play. A better play by Warren Murray to avoid it and get a couple extra yards out of the deal.
He just spun away from Hansa Yumi, who would have brought him down before the line to gain, but he spun out, got 5 extra yards, and picks up a fresh set of downs for the Houston Hyenas. Here is Johnson in the gun. He's going to throw over the middle, right down the seam, and complete. There's the first catch of the day for D.R. Sim. He takes a shot from Fran Ogawa, but holds on to the football. First down into Mexico City territory.
Yeah, and Eddie Gage hit the nail on the head there. Tough catch as he found a soft spot in the zone, but good pursuit there by the defensive backs to make sure he gets on the turf. As we get a look at Warren Murray's numbers so far, he's looking good. 7.5 yards a carry early on.
Under 2 minutes to go already in this first quarter. Time has flown by here on an SFL Saturday afternoon. Handoff, Murray spins away from one tackler but cannot get away from the convergence of white jerseys. I think it was Tyler Kane that's going to get credit for the tackle.
Yeah, that was Kane getting in there, making the stop. The whole defensive front looking good there so far for Mexico City. They've got a very good defense. Obviously, Houston with a very good defense. I think you're right, Michael. We're going to have to see which defense ends out on top here.
Johnson over the middle, floats it for a catch and close to a first down. The linebacking core preventing Dante Woodson from turning upfield, but it'll be a 3rd and 1, and Warren Murray eats these for breakfast.
Yeah, still a good pitch and catch there. Dante Woodson getting a good chunk of yards and making it 3rd and manageable here, which is exactly what Houston wants, especially in this formation. Go ahead and give the ball to Warren Murray.
Well, it's a heavy set they're going to throw out to Murray. Work to do, and he got closed down on brilliantly in the backfield. Lost a yard, 4th down. And I still don't know who came up and made that beautiful open field tackle for Mexico City, but he saved a drive continuing play for Houston.
Yeah, it was Hantayumi coming up and making the huge play, but Houston might be making a gutsy call of their own here on 4th and 2.
4th and 2, 22 seconds to go in the first quarter, and I think they're just going to try the old timeout cheese here. Mexico City dropping everybody back in coverage, only 3 down linemen. And they will call their first timeout. And I really don't mind it in that situation with the first quarter almost over.
Yeah, absolutely. In this particular situation, yeah, go ahead. You might as well see if you can get Mexico City to basically get caught napping, because they're a very disciplined defense, obviously. And Damon Simeon over on the sideline letting Kentez Johnson have it. But, they're both looking good early on. Both teams looking very good early on. Houston taking a couple chances here, which is good because they're the underdog in this particular situation. And chances are what you're going to have to take in order to keep yourself in the ballgame.
With 9 seconds to go in the first quarter, Brian Adams almost had that punt blocked. It was a very low snap. The punt's going to drop at the 10 and go out of bounds at the 2. Beautiful punt under duress.
Yeah, that was beautifully done there by Brian Adams, making sure that he got the punt off to start with. And then, oh, by the way, nailing it down at the sideline is Gunner able to slide out of bounds and mark it down at the 2. So Mexico City will see one play here before the end of the first.
We've seen so often in this league how many times that ball bounces right into the end zone, but beautiful spit on it from Adams. And now Mexico City in the shadow of the end zone. Wilson hit as he threw it and hit the back of the defender, B.J. Loveless, and that's the end of the first quarter. Mexico City 7, Houston 7. A wild ride on tap. Stay with us. We'll be back from Houston in a moment. Today's Simulation Football League broadcast on Twitch TV is presented by APM Music, Production Music Library and Custom Music House, and brought to you in part by Fuel Beyond Imagination. Visit the all-new SFLinteractive.net today. By Matt Doyle Designs, the official branding partner of the SFL. And by Media Tech Institute. Turn your passion into your profession. Aerial shots throughout the season brought to you by AirViews, united by drone. Visit airviews.com, that's AIRVUZ.com, to see more drone footage and beautiful shots of the Houston area as we're back inside the stadium. Houston and Mexico City trading blow for blow in that first quarter, and now 11 more minutes on the clock, and the Aztecs backed all the way up to their own 2. Michael Trillo and Eric Vincent in the booth for this one. Here's a handoff to Bentley, spins away from one, can't get away from the second one, and brings up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and that was a dangerous run there, Michael. The only other SFL running back I can think of with a more dangerous spin move would be BDG Hollywood out of the Atlanta Swarm. But yeah, you got to watch out for Ray Bentley when he throws you in the spin cycle.
3rd and 5, same formation as the previous play for the Aztecs, and Bentley's going to get it again, and again he's going to be brought down after a short gain. Ray Bentley's been mostly bottled up the middle today. That's a great tackle on the play. Eddie Gage came up from the safety spot to make that hit. And now on 4th and 3, the punter, Henry Hocko, is going to be punting from his own end zone, and the returner is Toby Giesland back deep. No pressure on the punt. It's going to be high and fair caught, and beautiful field position for the Houston Hyenas at the 34-yard line. They're almost in field goal range already.
Yeah, not a great punt that time by Hocko. And, the little bit that I've seen him punt, it was looking like he was doing good in warm-ups there. Might have just been a little bit of a shank, which happens from time to time. But Houston hopefully can take advantage of this awesome field position here, starting at 34.
Offset eye behind Johnson, who's under center. He'll change the play. There's a lot of pre-snap movement from the defense. They're going to run it up the middle, and getting 5 yards before he's shouldered to the turf is Warren Murray.
Yeah, big tackle there on defense. Wasn't sure which one came up there. It might have been the safety, Jeffrey Daggs, coming in there and shoving him down to the turf. But Eddie Gage was right there. That boy got baptized.
They bring the fullback into the game now on 2nd and 5. They're going to hand it off to Murray again. He bounces it outside with a beautiful block from said fullback and dives forward for a first down up to the 23-yard line.
And these are the type of runs that you see over and over again from Warren Murray as we roll back that beautiful footage. Good blocking there, looking like he was going to bounce to the outside. That was where the play was designed. Bounced it back inside and then squirts through there on that final tackler to get maybe 1.5 yards more, and that was what he needed for the first down.
If there's an inch of space, he'll find it and exploit it. Beautiful running from Murray. Here's 1st and 10 for Houston. In a tie ball game, 9 minutes, 3 seconds to go, first half. Murray again. He breaks a tackle and gets free at the 10.
Into the SFL red zone we go. 1st and goal, fresh set of downs thanks to Warren Murray's run. Again, we'll get another look at this, and we'll get a look at the inside of the pant leg there. That was an awkward camera shot. But bouncing it to the outside, squeaking through defenders. Pablo Zamora, normally a sure-handed defender, and could not bring him down. But man, oh man, Warren Murray wants it today. The whole Houston team wants it today.
Warren Murray is out rushing his opposite numbers so far in this first half. Only runs so far on this drive that started inside Mexico City territory. But now Johnson's going to throw to the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown by Leroy Brown. His second of the game, and the Hyenas take the lead.
Second of the game, 7th on the season, and man, Leroy Brown is starting to get in on the action here as we get again another look. Kentez looking good and threading the needle there, just finding that small little opening, getting it to Brown, who makes the tough catch for the touchdown. That was not an easy one right there, Michael.
Now in between the two safeties, he made the catch. And now Matthew Flynn is on for his second extra point attempt. And I'll tell you, we mentioned this might be a trap game for the Aztecs, so we're looking ahead to Tallahassee next week. But Houston has come to play. It is 14-7 Hyenas with 8 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in the second. And I'll tell you, the game plan set forth by Eddie Gage has worked to a T so far, because Ray Bentley has had nothing up the middle.
Yeah, averaging less than 3 yards a carry so far, which is not like the Hall of Famer. And we'll have to see what Mexico City does and Stephen Molinax, the offensive coordinator, does to combat it.
Jeffrey Daggs got caught up a little bit on his own blockers there, only gets out to the 27-yard line. Speaking of Hall of Famers, we've got 3 of them in this game, 2 of them for Mexico City, that being quarterback Matt Wilson and running back Ray Bentley. And, of course, we've got Eddie Gage in the game at strong safety for the Hyenas.
And can't forget Hall of Famer DR Sim as well.
The owner-coach of Houston as well. This game has got SFL royalty all over the place. Wilson alone in the backfield, 5 wide on 1st and 10. He's going to throw short, and that pass is caught. 8-yard pickup down the seam to Mac Gibbs, the Week 7 signing, the 6'1", 210 rookie.
And we've seen lots of different signees come in here after the 11 Sports agreement there with the SFL. They have come onto the field, and they have looked fantastic. Matt Gibbs being one of them right there as he sets his team up nicely for a 2nd and short.
Bentley back in the game. He's going to get the ball. He's going to try and find some space, and none appear. Scott Subtile drills him backwards, and it's going to be 3rd down and 2.
Chad Tackle getting in there as well. And again, this Houston defense wanted to make sure that they set up their offense for success and making sure that they take advantage of every opportunity that is giving them today.
And I'm not sure what happened. Bentley got blown up in the backfield by Chad Tackle. I guess he just wants to outdo his offensive line brethren, or defensive line brethren, as it were. The offensive line went out to lunch, and Bentley has lost yardage on consecutive plays.
Yeah, and Chad Tackle just went in there unblocked. I'm not sure how the offensive lineman missed his assignments, especially when it's Chad Tackle, but good grief, he just got in there and ate.
Punt from Hako, his 3rd of the game already. And Houston will get the ball at their own 41-yard line after the return by Giesland. And if this keeps up, I mean, what a start for the game by Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are not eliminated from playoff contention. They are going to need some help in order to make it into the playoffs, but they got to do their job today against a tough Mexico City squad, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Only 3 down linemen for the Aztecs. They bring 4, plenty of time, and Leroy Brown, another diving catch over the middle into Aztec territory.
And hats off to Leroy Brown. He has come to play today as we get another look. Kentez Johnson holding strong there in the pocket. Good throw, good spiral as Leroy Brown falls to the turf there to complete the catch and another 1st down.
Brown has almost every catch on this Houston team so far today. The only other one is one single solitary crossing catch by DR Sim. Here's a float to Murray, and Murray's going to be bottled up after a gain of 5. Good pursuit to the football by Tayumi.
It was looking like Warren Murray was going to get some more yardage on that play, just couldn't quite make it happen there. He had blockers out in front. Maybe the trajectory of the pass itself kind of threw him off a little bit there.
2nd and 5. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the first half. Houston down the field, tipped, and it is bobbled and incomplete. I think there were too many cooks in the kitchen there for the Mexico City defense. Otherwise, that's going back the other way. Pablo Zamora with the initial contact.
Oh, yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen, too many hands in the pot, whatever cliche you want to use there. But yeah, Mexico City not able to bring down an obvious mistake there by Kentez Johnson. I think he was just wanting it to get to Leroy Brown again, but needed a little bit more air on that football.
Trips right, single left on 3rd and 5. Johnson. Could this be a throwing down? It's going to be a toss to Murray. Yes, and he didn't get it. I thought Murray had enough forward progress to get the first down. He spotted half a yard short.
Yeah, that one was close, Michael. I thought he got it for sure, but man, he is very, very close to that first down. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the challenge flag, but I am a little surprised to see the offense still on the field.
Well, they tried this in the first quarter. Let's see if they actually pull the trigger here with the ball resting almost over the line again. They do. Murray, first down, and more, and running away from people inside the 25.
Man, this Houston team is just on fire right now. Just going right into a brick wall. Like, I'm not even sure what to really say. That they're just playing with reckless abandon out there, trying to do everything they can to get this victory, and just throwing it all out there, all out on the football field. Hats off to the Houston Hyenas so far for a very, very impressive first half.
5 minutes to go, first half. Houston with a 14-7 lead and driving. I formation for the Hyenas. A single receiver split far out to the right-hand side. Johnson under center facing 4 down linemen. Here's a handoff, Murray right side. Murray tries to get to a block, and he doesn't get there, but he still powers forward for 9.
And again, another tough run by Warren Murray. Getting through Pablo Zamora yet again. Finally getting wrapped up towards the end of the play. I think that was Fran Ogawa getting him down to the turf. But I've seen it a little bit in the chat tonight. They're wondering, maybe we tire him out a little bit. I don't know. Got to watch it out.
Johnson over the middle, caught first down to the 9. Another catch for Brown.
Man, oh man, Leroy Brown just showing up today. I'm not sure what he had for breakfast or what he had for game day meal, but man, he is just showing that extra fire today and is just catching everything thrown to him.
And they've been doing so many schemes to get Brown open. They've sent him deep, they've sent him across the middle, they've sent him on curls and slants, and he's catching everything. Here is Murray, and he's put down right at the line of scrimmage. They'll say he gained 1. Good tackle that time by Nick Daggs.
And good stop by Mexico City, just holding him for a minimal gain right near the line of scrimmage and living to find another down.
Second down and goal from the 8. High snap. Johnson corrals it, fires over the middle, and it's caught for a touchdown! Another end zone trip for the Hyenas, and it's the rookie Toby Giesland.
Yeah, the Week 8 signing getting in there and making his presence felt. Normally the return man, but they split him far out on the far end there, and he just cuts right in to the teeth of that defense and makes a tough catch. Hats off to the Rook for making that great catch there.
And Matthew Flynn is out again for his 3rd extra point try. And in the last 10 minutes or so, Eric, I have gone from pleasantly surprised it's blocked. It was off the backside of a Hyenas player. No good on the extra point, so the score holds at 20-7.
Man, and that intern down in the at the scoreboard table, he didn't have to worry about missing that extra point because it got blocked. But it was just a tough snap to get the ball up and just took too much time. Could not quite get it up and through.
And so the lead is 13, but as I was saying, I've gone from being pleasantly surprised at the Houston effort today as Dags gets up to the 29 to this could really be difficult for Mexico City from the lack of diversity they've shown on offense so far.
Yeah, it absolutely. And this honestly could be game film that some of these playoff teams will use against the Aztecs later on. Hey, if we take Ray Bentley out of the game plan, maybe Matt Wilson can't play with as much magic as maybe he used to.
Wilson, plenty of time. Now the pocket collapses and he goes down. Loss of 7. And it's Chad Taco with a sack. And he's been in the backfield all game.
And he's pulling on that horn as well as he brings Wilson to the ground. I don't think Wilson was going to give him much of a fight there as Tackle just eats him up. Good grief. He's had a great game so far as well.
The entire defensive line, I think the only person we haven't mentioned yet is Mike Johnson. And you know he's just waiting for his time to get in the backfield and sack some quarterbacks. Second down and 17, and the pocket collapses again, and Wilson goes down again for a second straight sack.
I'm trying to see who that was. That might have been Fats Johnson getting in there. Getting in there and making the sack.
Usually it's the commentator's curse, but I guess I don't know what the opposite of that would be.
I'm not sure. Usually we do all the cursing.
The commentator's pep talk, I guess. Wilson, third sack in a row for the Hyenas defensive line. It's Johnson again, and it's 4th and 27.
Wow. And Fats Johnson is letting them know about it, too. All 6'7", 320. Hey, Wilson, you better get comfortable down there, man, because I'm going to be in here all game long.
So that's the 2-minute warning, and Mexico City has to rethink their offensive strategy here. Nothing going their way so far, 20-7. Hyenas over Mexico City Aztecs. 2 minutes to go in the first half here on the Simulation Football League on Twitch TV, your Saturday afternoon. Second game of a doubleheader. Here from the great city of Houston, Texas, and the punt is away from Hako. Fair catch called for again. This will be taken to the Mexico City 39. Again, fantastic field position for the Hyenas.
And again, it's the circle of life, if you want to put it that way. You know, the defense, 3 straight sacks, pushing them back against their own end zone, has to punt it away. Obviously, unless you've got Thor's hammer as your leg, you're not going to boot it to the other end of the football field, so you're going to have good field position here, which sets up the offense nicely here on first down with 1:55 left.
Johnson all day to throw it. He completes it across the middle to Giesland. Rumbles down inside the 30 to the 25.
And Houston wants it. Like, you can just tell right now that Mexico City is reeling, trying to figure out what they can do here to stop Houston, but they are just firing on all cylinders in every facet of the ball game so far.
Power eye here on 1st and 10. Johnson to throw. Murray gets a nice block and spins away from a tackle, and he's going the wrong way. A whirling dervish of spin moves, and he gets 8 yards somehow. I'm not quite sure.
Not sure how they gave him 8 yards on that play. Probably would be closer to 5 or 6 after spinning back. I think he got caught in the spin cycle himself. Just couldn't quite know. Do I exit here? Do I exit here? Where's the exit, guys? I need
caught in the rotating door of running backs.
Yes.
2nd down and 2. He's alone in the backfield. Will get the handoff running strong side away from everybody. And the spin cycle again gets him inside the 10 and down to the 7, 1st and goal.
Yeah, he found his way out that time, and that was set up very, very nicely by the Houston offensive line, bouncing off tackle to the far end and just making sure that you followed your blocks and getting the yards needed.
1st and goal. For all the work he's done, Murray doesn't have a touchdown yet today, and he powers forward to the 4-yard line. Remember, Houston burned a timeout in the first quarter, trying to draw Mexico City off sides. 33 seconds to go, floats it to the end zone, and a diving play to prevent a touchdown from Tayomi. And Leroy Brown denied a hat trick of first half touchdowns there.
Man, and Tayomi did not want to give him that one. He knows that Leroy Brown has been hot tonight. So he wanted to make sure, through a diving attempt there, to make sure that ball hit the turf. An impressive play there by the Mexico City secondary.
But still, it's 3rd and goal from the 4. 30 seconds to go first half. Johnson, plenty of time, back of the end zone, tipped it incomplete. He was aiming for Johnson again, or Brown again, rather, and this time Fran Ogawa came on to make the stop. So both cornerbacks deny Leroy Brown another touchdown, and on comes the field goal unit for what is essentially an extra point with 26 seconds to go in the half. Remember, the last extra point was blocked, so nothing is a given here in the SFL.
You get nothing for free here.
This will be about a 20-and-a-half-yarder for Matthew Flynn. This one is easy as you like. It's 23-7 with 23 seconds to go in the half, and Mexico City has 3 timeouts to try and get something going here, or do you think they just run it or take a knee and head to the break?
I'm thinking they're just going to head into the locker room and figure out how to combat this Houston ball club. Definitely some adjustments need to be made for the second half here for the Aztecs.
Kick away from Flynn. Here is Jeffrey Daggs on the return, and he can't find a way through. He'll get out to the 29-yard line. 19 seconds left and 3 timeouts, and here comes the Mexico City offense once again.
Yeah, 19 seconds, 3 timeouts. There's not really a whole lot that you can do setting up shop at your own 29-yard line. We'll have to see if maybe they just, hand it off to Ray Bentley here, see what he can get. At that point, maybe burn a timeout. We'll have to see what happens.
Wilson is going to throw, and he's under pressure and goes down again. That is the 4th straight sack on consecutive defensive plays for the Houston Hyenas, and Johnson gets another one.
The big man heard you, Michael. That he heard you. He heard that you were, hey, he's not on the stat sheet yet. Where are you at? There he is.
We go to the break. The Hyenas on the verge of pulling a shocker here at home. The score at halftime, Houston 23, Mexico City 7. I think the biggest telling point is the amount of rushing yards for the Aztecs. Only 13 on the ground for Bentley and 98 for Warren Murray.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, they have less than 100 total yards for the half, which says everything about this Houston defense. The score column for the Hyenas shows what they're doing on offense. Actually, it really isn't showing what they're doing on offense because, you would think that Warren Murray is the guy that's getting this offense going. And it's actually been Kentez Johnson that's been throwing it through the air. Warren Murray's been doing great, don't get me wrong. But Leroy Brown's had 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. That doesn't happen usually.
Gieslin has a touchdown grab as well, as we see right there. And Mike Johnson, 3 tackles. All of those tackles are sacks. Oh no, he has 2.5 sacks, so didn't get quite enough credit for the 3rd one, but still, he's been in the backfield. And I can't believe that the Mexico City offensive line has given up 4 straight sacks on consecutive plays. And what's better for Houston as we begin the second half, they get the football. Michael Trillo and Eric Vinson here in Houston, Texas, as the Hyenas on the verge of pulling off an upset. Mexico City with a lot of work to do to try and keep hope of a playoff home field advantage alive. Cold water, bottle of tea, hand in the air. Game on again for the second 2 quarters of action as the ball is brought out of the end zone by Gieslin. Gieslin is bottled up and dropped at the 21. So deep field position for the Hyenas, wearing white helmets, red jerseys, red pants with white shoulders and gold trim today at home.
Yeah, and everything's been going great for Houston. Excuse me, everything going wrong for Mexico City, and we'll have to see what sort of adjustments that Mexico City on defense made here. Maybe tightening up coverage in the secondary a bit more.
Here's a screen to Murray, and the block wasn't there, and he is blown up by Pablo Zamora, loss of 2.
And already a good start. We saw that screen pass burn him a little bit there. Not for a huge gain, but 8 or 9 yards a lot of the time. So that's a good start, putting him in a negative yardage situation.
And they really like to use DR Sim. You should see him to the bottom of the screen as a blocker in these heavy set formations and swing it out to Murray. Let's see if they do it again here. They will. Murray, one-handed spinning catch. This time the block is there, and he picks up 7 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 4. And this is where Kentez Johnson has earned his paycheck today with his passing game.
Yeah, and they've done a good job. The game plan has definitely been there for Houston. They have made sure that they keep themselves in third manageable situations. I don't think they've really had a 3rd and long today, at least not that I can recall.
Johnson, middle. It's popped way up into the air. It's still bottled around, and somehow it hits the turf on one of the most wacky plays I think I've ever seen. Suddenly, the entire defense decided they were going to try and play volleyball, and it was almost caught by the Hyenas at the end there.
That was insane. I'm not even sure what that was. So Julio Diggs made a great play batting the football down, thought he could grab it, then he drops it, then it's bobbled. I mean, just a completely wacky play. And you're absolutely right, Michael. Houston almost came down with that at the very end.
What would have happened there if, like, say, Leroy Brown came up with that and just ran away because everybody was around the football? I don't think any of the safeties were back there.
No, it certainly didn't look like it anyway. That man, absolute bizarro world.
Well, the punt is on. Brian Adams out for the second time today, punting from his own 15. This should be decent field position for Mexico City as Jeffrey Daggs gets to the 40. And now it's time for Stephen Mullinax, the offensive coordinator, to earn his stripes. Nothing has been working offensively for the red and green so far today. Let's see what he dialed up at halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. And this all-time series tied at 5-5. So obviously both these teams very familiar with each other and know how to play each other tough.
They jump. Free play for Mexico City. Cross the middle. Caught. And that's complete to KL Barrett. And I think they'll decline the penalty and take the 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, they'll probably take the catch here.
And they accept the penalty.
Huh.
Clear was the man who made the infraction.
Well, maybe they just wanted the extra shot at the football kind of things. It is first down now after getting the 5 yards. So, maybe they just wanted the extra down to make sure that they can get the first one.
Now 1st and 5 for Mexico City at the 45-yard line. Wilson jump pass to Bentley, who's in space, and he gets a first down. And this is where they're going to have to get Ray Bentley. He's had nothing up the middle, so they have to get him outside in space where he can use his speed.
Yeah, they got to start getting creative here. Houston, obviously very well aware of the talents of Ray Bentley running the football. So you're definitely going to have to get him in space and toss him the rock a little bit more. Also want to give a shout out to Madame 96 for cheering 1,000 bits there. We appreciate that.
And off Bentley up the middle, and he's run to the ground. Relentless set of tackles by Houston. He still bounced off about 3 of them after getting 3 yards.
Yeah, and this Houston defense has showed great pursuit today. Uh, they've just done an absolutely incredible job, obviously getting into the backfield and making Matt Wilson uncomfortable with 4 straight sacks at one point in time. And they're still making Ray Bentley feel uncomfortable as well.
Second down 7. Wilson, cross the middle. 2 players wide open, and one of them makes the catch. It's a Houston territory. Richard Montague finds the football for the first time today.
Gutsy throw by Matt Wilson as he got crunched throwing that football. Couldn't tell if he was going to Montague the whole way or going to his best friend Mike Daggs, who was also in the vicinity. But man, oh man, an impressive throw there by the Hall of Famer.
1st and 10. Wilson, middle, caught. Mike Daggs powers his way to the 11-yard line.
Actually, it looks like it was one of the other tight ends there, David
Mike
Jr.
Daggs. David Jr. I mean, you can see where I got confused. That was a very Mike Daggs-esque play.
It was, and Jr.'s 6'6", 252, so he's also a big dude.
1st and 10 for the 11. Can get a first down inside the 1, but I'm sure they'd like to just go for the end zone. Here's a short pass over the middle to Montague for 4. They'll get down to the 7-yard line. And Mexico City, Eric, really needs this one to find pay dirt.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're happy with points being on the board, but at this point in time, being down by 16, you'd like to get in the end zone at this point with less than 7 minutes to go here in the 3rd.
Wilson, high snap, stands in, fires, incomplete. It was looking for Junior again. And it's going to be 3rd and 6.
And again, blanket coverage there. That was Panani out there on coverage, the speedy outside linebacker for Houston. And they're just having difficulty finishing this thing up. They've had a very impressive drive so far, showing a little bit of pizzazz, getting Ray Bentley different touches in different spots. Now can they hit pay dirt? We'll see. 3rd and 6.
What do they dial up here? It's going to be Bentley. He's crushed in the backfield and barely makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Chad tackle, wrapped him up and threw him to the ground.
Man, and if that's not a telling stat right there that we just showed, 1.5 yards a carry, 16 yards and a touchdown. That is what Ray Bentley's stat line is as of right now, which is hats off to the Houston defense so far.
My question is, why do you run in that situation? You know Houston's had all eyes on Bentley as Cole Vaughn remains perfect on the season. He's now 19 for 19 with the field goal. And it is 23-10. Why do you run in that situation when you know the defense is cued in on Bentley and you've been having some success down the field to your tight ends?
You know, I think that they were, especially with that last play that they tried to go to the junior on 2nd down, I think that they were trying to maybe lull them to sleep a little bit, the Houston Hyena defense to sleep, seeing if maybe they can catch him off guard with a quick run there to Bentley to get in the end zone.
Deep field position for the Hyenas at their own 21 after the return by Gieslin. And now it's time to see if Mexico City's defense can get a couple of stops, string a couple of good defensive possessions together, and get their offense a chance to get back into this ballgame. I formation, 1st down from Houston. Going left to right here in this 3rd quarter. Underhanded throw by Johnson, and he finds Leroy Brown for 8 yards.
And again, Leroy Brown has been very impressive tonight, and that was a very interesting throw there by Kentez Johnson, just kind of slinging it over to the near sideline and getting 8 on 1st down.
And all you have to do as a quarterback is get the ball in a position for your receiver to make a play, and that's what he did. By hook or by crook, he got it out there, sets up a 2nd and 2, and we've seen Warren Murray eat these for breakfast all day. He's the lone back in the backfield with 2 wide receivers. They're going to throw. Pressure coming over the middle, and it's almost intercepted. Tyler Kane had it in and out of his hands, and that was all done by the pressure up the middle on the blitz.
Yeah, Mexico City baited them a little bit on that defense as they dropped Kane into coverage on that one. Just couldn't quite come up with the pick. The big boy just not with the soft hands there.
3rd and 2. In the gun. Johnson gonna throw. Pumps. Rifles it deep. Caught by Brown. And he's in the open field. 20. 10. 5. Touchdown! Houston. Second long touchdown of the game by Leroy Brown.
Get the heck out of here, Leroy Brown. You gotta be kidding me. This man now with his 3rd touchdown on the board, 8th on the season, and man, oh man, he roasted the Mexico City defense, just protecting that football and still outrunning Pablo Zamora into the end zone.
Couldn't quite catch up to number 11, who has been absolutely on fire. He has been more red hot than the all-red jerseys that Houston is wearing today. And Houston has a potential 20-point lead here midway through the 3rd. And it is a 20-point lead. Houston 30, Mexico City 10. And the crowd here in Houston is on its feet.
As they should be. This is unbelievable. Mexico City, that was certainly not what they needed as far as momentum is concerned. Man, getting the field goal on the board was great, but they really needed to stop Houston there on that last drive, and they certainly did not do that.
They almost had him. They got him backed up on 3rd down, and then Johnson just got all the time in the pocket and found his favorite receiver deep down the field. Mexico City will start at their own 30-yard line. Here are the top 6. As you see, 4 teams at 8-2 coming into the week. And the lowest one on that ladder is the Mexico City Aztecs because of their 2 losses, and I'll get into that after this 1st and 10. Wilson, 5-step drop, plenty of time, throws near side, pass complete. And Manuel Cano makes the catch. He's now hit all 3 of his tight ends in the game. The 2 losses on the season for Mexico City were to Baltimore and Seattle. And unfortunately for them, those are the 2 teams also at 8-2 of the 3 teams also at 8-2 with them. So they own no tiebreakers there. Wilson on 2nd and 6. Time over the middle, throws complete. K.L. Barrett. And K.L. Barrett gets inside, or almost inside Houston territory, my bad, to the Mexico City 46 across the middle.
And go back to what you were talking about with the playoff scenario there, Michael. Mexico City, if they lose this ball game, it is not going to be doing them any favors, let alone for getting a home playoff game, but certainly not for being in the top 6. They'll fall. They might fall into the bottom half there, the bottom 4, into the wild card picture, which would be certainly insane.
Uh-oh, here's Bentley. He's breaking free. He's going down the field, and he's finally run out of bounds by Lovelace. But there's Ray Bentley showing off some of his signature shifty moves, and then the speed.
Yeah, and he did a great job there. Ray Bentley did to make sure he got himself out into open space and moving the sticks. That was exactly what Mexico City needed. Because, again, they need touchdowns at this point. They do not need field goals. And that's a surefire way to get yourself into the end zone.
Trips left, single right. On 1st and 10 from the Houston 30. Mexico City, a good drive to this point. Wilson, laser down the seam. Back shoulder catch by Gibbs. 1st and 10 at the 18 inside the red zone.
Hitting number 18 down at the 18 is Matt Gibbs. Making a nice catch here. It was decent coverage. It looks like that was Everett Garrison out there in coverage on him. And did a decent job taking care of him, but couldn't quite make the play. And the rookie, the Week 7 signing, making the catch and getting the better of him.
Wilson now with 5 wide on 1st and 10. They may look to take a shot to the end zone right here. Underneath the ball goes, and it's 1st and goal at the 7, as they said everybody long, but Francisco Gonzalez who makes the catch underneath.
And we've seen that play before as well. Francisco Gonzalez being one of the extra receivers they like to bring in that package and just kind of run them across, as you saw there. Sets them up nicely with a 1st and goal. And I think DR Sim 80 in the chat, all Damon Simeon hit the nail on the head, as his Houston squad is not getting pressure on the quarterback.
Well, that slants play is the bane of all defenses in the SFL. As here's Bentley breaking through and gets to the 3. And he's still averaging only 1.8 yards per carry.
Well, they've gotten him involved a lot in the passing game. So that his rushing yards are going to look pretty trash, which they honestly do at this point, which is hard to say about the Hall of Famer. But yeah, he's been getting most of his touches in the passing game today.
Bentley, oh, he's wrapped up and dropped for a loss at 2. Johnson was there, tackle was there, and charging in for the linebacker spot was Padani.
And again, that's what happens there. Whenever he touches the football on a run play, Bentley gets bottled up right at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield because of this Houston pursuit.
And now it's going to be on the arm of Matt Wilson on 3rd and goal from the 5. No, they're going to hand it off to Bentley. He didn't get there. He only got back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's 4th and goal.
Man, oh man, he's just not having any sort of luck on the ground at all. Doesn't matter where he runs, off tackle, through the middle, anything like that. He's just not making any sort of headway against this Houston rush defense.
Varner on again for a 20-yarder. It's good. Mexico City inches a little bit closer, but they need touchdowns, not field goals. But it's currently Houston 30, Mexico City 13. 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. We thank you all for joining us, spending your Saturday afternoons with us. And hopefully you'll spend your Sunday afternoon and evening with us on the SFL Network on 11 Sports tomorrow as well. Here's Gaislin on the return out to the 20-yard line. And this could be, we're not even in the 4th quarter yet, but this could be the critical defensive possession for the Aztecs.
Yeah, it could. Houston coming in here with a great rushing defense, only allowing 58.3 yards a game, and we're seeing it here today as they're bottling up Ray Bentley and setting their offense up for success.
Johnson off his back foot somehow finds a completion to DR Sim. Unreal.
How in the heck did he do that? Good grief. Let's get another look. I thought he was going to be sacked right there on that play. And then somehow that wobbler makes it across the middle to the Hall of Famer. Good grief.
How many times have you seen that throw of a back foot? It's wobbling over the middle of the field, and the safety just says, I'll have that, thank you very much. Not this time. DR Sim grabbed it out of the air, moved the chains for the Hyenas up to the 38-yard line, and here's Johnson again. High snap, pressure coming, throws down the field, and Leroy Brown down the field again for the end zone. He is stopped at the 1. Oh, Eric, tell me if you've seen this before.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. 7 catches, 218 yards, and 3 scores. He almost had his 4th of the game right there. But he has absolutely been toasting the secondary of Mexico City today. This time, Fran Ogawa had the misfortune of drawing him in coverage this time.
It doesn't matter if it was Ogawa or Tayumi or even Jeffrey Daggs or Pablo Zamora. Nobody has kept Leroy Brown in front of him today. And he is almost in for another touchdown. Here is Murray looking for a bounce outside, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown for Houston. And if you can believe it, that's Warren Murray's first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, it seems almost ridiculous, right? That they're up 36-13, and Warren Murray just now got it in the end zone. But honestly, the way that this game is going, Houston is going to walk away with this victory and walk away easily with this victory. Mexico City just cannot keep up with how Houston is playing this game. They are firing on all cylinders today.
48 seconds to go, third quarter. And it has been all Houston all the time so far in this ball game. Flynn is good on the extra point. And it's 37-13. Hyenas over the Aztecs. And for the Mexico City Aztecs, it does not get any easier. They close out their season week 13 next weekend on the road at Tallahassee, which could be a very interesting contest if Mexico City, which they do for all purposes look like they'll end up falling in this game, do fall and drop to 8-3. Could set up some very interesting playoff implications online in Tallahassee next week.
Yeah, 100%. And then on the reverse side of that too, Houston, they do get a home game, but they get it against the Alaska Storm, and that's their final game going into Week 13. So again, they can possibly win out because Alaska has looked vulnerable as well. But at 5-7, you have to wonder what kind of help you're going to get from Houston as Houston can try and get into the playoffs.
Nice zinger downfield from Wilson finds Richard Montague, and that's a name we really haven't called enough for Stephen Molinax and the Mexico City fans liking today. And that's, again, I remember he had a catch back in the first half where it was very much like that, where him and Mike Daggs basically ran the same route and neither of them could have made the catch. DR Sim in the chat says, we're ready for Alaska. And if they play like they do today, Alaska's looked pretty shaky this season. I wouldn't be surprised if that game is very close.
Absolutely.
And off Ray Bentley, and he dives forward for 8 yards.
Probably his best run of the ball game there.
And still averaging under 2 yards a carry. That's the end of the third. 4 is up in the chat. We head the final frame. Houston all over Mexico City, 37-13. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. The SFL on Twitch TV is brought to you in part by Nation's Best Football, helping NFL, college, high school, and youth players help hashtag secure the bag. By ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the SFL. By Sector 6, custom esports jerseys and apparel on the official SFL shop provider. And by Spygoat, dedicated to the craft of audio. Aerial shots brought to you by AirViews, united by drone. Visit airviews.com to see more drone footage. And back for the final quarter of action from Houston, Texas. The Hyenas all over the Mexico City Aztecs, 37-13. And I'm going to say it after this play. Michael Cirillo and Eric Vincent in the commentary booth as Bentley stopped short again. Only needed 2, got 1. And I'm not as scared to admit when I'm wrong. I was definitely this game. We were talking in pregame, Eric, and I thought this game would be done and dusted by the fourth quarter, but I totally thought it was going the other direction. Houston has come out and pleasantly surprised me today. Here's a wobbler pass that Bentley had to track back to get, and he's going to lose a yard. And Mexico City stifled again after having second and short.
Man, oh man. Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct on that one, Michael. And you know, I think that I scratched my head a little bit, and I gave you the funny, maybe some side eye a little bit, and thought that you were a little crazy thinking that it was going to be over by the fourth quarter on Mexico City's side, and that Houston wasn't going to come out to play it all. But man, oh man, they definitely proved you wrong, and emphatically on top of that.
After the punt, Houston back on offense again, looking to extend an already impressive 37-13 lead. There's you see the stats for Murray, 3 yards from 100. And you threw out the stat earlier, Eric, that Mexico City only allows 58 yards rushing per game, and it's already double that for Owen Murray. Almost double that. Here is Murray out of the backfield. He's got plenty of yards through the air on slants and swing passes as well. He'll get 4 yards on first down.
Yeah, it's actually Houston's rushing defense that averages 58.3 yards a game, best in the SFL. But still, Mexico City only averages 85, which is still pretty darn good, and they're still getting bested by Warren Murray today.
Johnson, plenty of time. There's been no pressure on Kentez Johnson at all today from the Mexico City defense, and a catch made for a first down. He moves the chains up to the Houston 28-yard line.
And Alaska Storm owner Max Paul in the chat, I don't know if you saw this, Michael, but he's calling us out a little bit, saying that he's questioning if 7-3 is considered shaky.
Well, when you've done what the Alaska Storm have done over the past 3 seasons, you got to look at relativism here.
I think
7-3.
I think looking mortal is more of a better comparison. They look mortal at this point because being the back-to-back-to-back champs, yeah, you kind of almost ascend to that Mount Olympus status. And this season, maybe not so much.
37-13, handoff. Up the middle, Murray sheds a tackle and gets another first down. And I think this clock is just going to wind down. Tick, tick, tick as Warren Murray shows off some dancing moves there in the backfield.
Yeah, Houston wants to get out of here as quick as possible and start celebrating with the home crowd on this big win here against their arch rivals, Mexico City.
Johnson changes the play at the line. Handoff, Murray, and he's bottled up, and for one of the only, I think 2 or 3 times today, he's dropped for a loss. Second down at 11.
Yeah, there certainly haven't been too many plays like that today for Warren Murray. He's been pretty much given free reign, as has Kentez Johnson, as Houston has looked very impressive today. Mexico City just having a hard time keeping up.
Johnson, again, no pressure, down the middle and caught and streaking away from the defense. There's DR Sim down to the Mexico City 16-yard line.
And there's the Hall of Famer. He's been pretty quiet today, but he tends to do this. He'll make these impressive catches, and just a bit of a whiff there by Dags trying to make the play and just falling short there as DR Sim turns on the Jets and almost goes the distance.
Alaska playing Houston in the final game of the season for the 2nd straight year. Handoff, Murray, 2 yards. Tackle made by Nick Dags. Well, that's actually Darnell Black as the second stringers are in for Houston with 6 minutes and 57 seconds to go.
2nd and 7 from the Savages, 13-yard line.
I formation. Johnson floats it out to Black. Black trying to make a man miss, gets bottled up after a gain of 1.
And Darnell Black used to be the bell cow here before Warren Murray came to town. Warren Murray now with 4 seasons under his belt here in the SFL, and he's looked quite saucy in those 4 years. And Houston looking good today. They're in business.
4 receivers on 3rd and 7. There is no doubt that they want more points. Here's Johnson over the middle, touchdown! Houston continues to run the scoreboard up, and Toby Gieslin has his 2nd of the game.
And Gieslin making a name for himself as well as we get another look. Johnson just with all sorts of time there. Pocket finally collapsing around him and just tosses an easy one there to the back of the end zone. Great play.
And off on again is Matthew Flynn. The only blemish really on the Houston ball game today is the blocked extra point back in the second quarter. This one's up and good, 44-13 the score now. And that really wasn't Matthew Flynn's fault. The offensive lineman fell backwards into the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say the same thing, that really that was the only bit of a mishap that they've had all game long, which is kind of incredible, right? Like you just wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, beautiful game plan put together by Demond Simeon and Eddie Gage. The return by Jeffrey Daggs up to the 31. And for Mexico City, it's going to be back to the drawing board on both sides of the football, because what they tried to do today, it didn't work. They came out and they put a plan in motion, and it didn't end up working, and they couldn't do enough at halftime and adjustments on the sideline to fix the problems. 1st and 10, Mexico City 31. Wilson moving, and he's been pressured, and that's almost a sack. They're going to call that an incomplete pass. Clear got back there and made the tackle.
Yeah, and Michael, you're 100% correct. Whatever game plan that Mexico City came in with today, it's going to have to be severely altered, if not scrapped completely, because there just wasn't a whole lot that went right for Mexico City today. It looked like they were going to hang tough towards the start there, early on, 7-7 ball game, but man, Houston turned on the Jets in a hurry after that.
Delayed blitz, and Wilson reads it, fires over the middle for a first down. There's Montague. And again, Houston's backups are in a lot of positions here with 5 minutes and 43 seconds to go in a blowout ball game.
Trying to get some extra guys in there, get some extra experience, especially with the end of the season rolling around.
To the flat, Bentley makes one man miss, then gets pummeled after a gain of 4 yards. He took an absolute shot from B.J. Lovelace.
And that was Everett Garrison over there as well, and they just dumped him right into the turf, letting him know that they're the boys in charge today. Good grief.
And for Mexico City, I think they just got to move on. They've got Tallahassee next week. It's going to be a tough game. Wilson over the middle, incomplete, fires too far in front of Cale Barrett. It's going to be a tough game. A lot on the line against the Pride down in Florida. And then they got to get ready for the playoffs. This Alaska, who am I talking about? Mexico City team has made the playoffs every season since season 9. It'll be 5 straight seasons in the postseason for Mexico City. Here's 3rd and 6. Watch that slant pattern. There it is. Mike Daggs makes the catch. First down and more into Houston territory. Wilson again. Dropped but caught on the bounce. That was an interesting reaction catch by Francisco Gonzalez, rather. Here's 1st and 10, short over the middle. There's Gibbs, and he dropped it as he was hit and going to the ground.
We've seen some wacky stuff here today, Michael, as we've seen that volleyball tipped pass. We've seen the blocked extra point. We've seen that one. So it's been a very interesting game. It's been almost, us hanging out in the upside down with Houston just taking this commanding lead.
2nd and 10, there's still 4 wide for the Aztecs. Wilson hit as he throws across the middle, complete. That's Misa Hirose with his first catch of the game. First down to the Houston 22. Under 5 minutes to go in the ball game. Wilson pumps, hit as he throws, and throws it straight into the turf as the offensive line could not contain Marco Chilton. And it doesn't seem to matter who they've put down there on the defensive line. They've found pay dirt today.
Yeah, 100%. I know Fats Johnson got in there with 2.5 sacks. I believe Chad Tackle got in there with another sack or two. So this defense has just been causing all sorts of problems today for Matt Wilson and company.
2nd and 10. Wilson under center, short drop. Throws near side, complete. Montague tries to turn upfield, but it'll be 3 yards short of the first down, 3rd and 3. Kenny Smith's knees is new in the chat. Thank you for tuning in to the Simulation Football League. Yeah, head over to simulationfl.net. That's .net, not .com. My dear X, in his infinite wisdom, is wrong about that one. And click the link to join our Discord, as the link is now in the chat via Nightbot. So thank you for hanging out with us on a Saturday afternoon, and we hope you can be on the field next season. First to goal at the 5 after the catch by Gibbs. Wilson moves in the pocket, throws to the end zone. It's a leaping catch for a touchdown. And Mexico City makes the score a little bit more respectable as Richard Montague makes the grab.
And this is actually a pretty impressive drive here from Mexico City. Running a little no huddle. Obviously, they're putting some backups into the game on Houston's side there. It was definitely a good drive. Good job actually putting points on the board. It's in the form of a touchdown rather than a field goal, because obviously Houston has just been scoring touchdowns left and right.
There were 2 Mexico City drives that went deep and ended in field goals today by Cole Varner. Here's Varner for the extra point. That's good. Your score with 3:51 to go, 4th quarter, Mexico City 20, Houston 44. As the battle rages on the all slants debate, and that's one of the many things that's going to be discussed in the off season by the competition committee and other governing bodies of the Simulation Football League. Onside kick is recovered by Houston at the Mexico City 38.
Yeah, 100%. You always see various things, especially in the different chat channels that we have, discussing various things that need to be changed or altered or whatever the case may be. It's what makes our community so great. And we have a ton of great people in it that just love this league. So if you're new, feel free to come on out and you can go hashtag from Couch to Field.
And Narco Nukem in the chat makes a great point. The Hyenas are still in with a shot to make the playoffs. They do need to beat Alaska next week and get some help, but it is possible.
Yes, 100%. And I've been saying that as well, Michael, that while it is a little far-fetched to think that Houston can make it, especially sitting at what's going to be 4-7 at the end of this game today, they can make it on 5-7. It just kind of depends on what the rest of the league wants to do and how topsy-turvy bananas we're going to get.
It's all on the line next week. Week 13 is the final week of the SFL regular season. All the playoff spots decided. I remember last season's final day of the season was so crazy. We had the SFL Blitz live and all the games so close. We had about every team in the league finishing 6-6. Yeah, it was insane. And I don't think next week is going to be any different. Every result from every game matters, even the ones where you don't think it does. So tune into all the games next week and find out who's in and who's out and who's going to be playing who in the playoffs, what the seeds are. Still lots to be decided here with 2 weeks to go. Here's up the middle. Dono Black gets another carry and takes it to the Mexico City 25. We're almost to the 2-minute warning here.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Michael. We've seen it seemingly season after season where playoffs, just when it comes playoff time, there's everything just is tossed up in the air. Like no one knows what exactly is going to happen. The high seeds, they might get knocked out. Who knows? No one ever knows.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. Houston is all over this one. Got a 24-point lead. And I just looking to lock this one up. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Twitch. Here's the upcoming broadcast schedule. I talked about Oklahoma City and Atlanta and Seattle and Carolina, but also San Francisco and Vancouver. A game that is going to be interesting. The San Francisco offense really revolves on Gabriel Manning, and what the it's going to be interesting what defense Andy Hamilton trots out to try and stop him. Also, the other games on the 11 Sports Network and Twitch. Check the SFL Alerts channel for the schedule. I will be in Atlanta at the Hive tomorrow afternoon as the Swarm try to make the playoffs for the first time since Season 9. As here's Darnell Black up the middle, first down. Great run. Katie, please forgive me if I horribly mispronounce your name. Katie Pinate? I've probably butchered that. I'm sorry. Welcome to the Simulation Football League. We're glad you found us. This is a controllerless esports league. You could be a player, you could be a coach, even someday own one of the very teams on the field. And there's a lot of things to check out. Go to the website, head to the Discord, introduce yourself, and you could be playing on the field next season. Got 21 teams for you to choose from. Darnell Black around the outside loses 2.
Yeah, Mexico City now out of timeouts, no way to stop the clock, so that'll pretty much do it for sure here, as Houston will secure at the very least a 24-point win. But yeah, absolutely, anybody, newcomers at all, if you're curious about what's going on, what this is, visit simulationfl.net, join our Discord server, ask as many questions as you possibly want. There are tons of great people, including ourselves, who would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
And the best formation in football is out for the Houston Hyenas, the victory formation, as they will run down the final 1 minute and 33 seconds of clock. And it's time to recap this one, Eric, and I'm going to get your player of the game vote here. I guess we'll say, I was going to say after this play, but this play is going to be a kneel down. So who is your player of the game? I have one that I'm thinking of, but I want to hear your opinion.
Oh, it's going to be bad Leroy Brown. He came out today, over 200 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, almost very nearly had a 4th. But he had a career day today.
I completely agree with you. Leroy Brown, he is now over 1,000 yards receiving for the season. He did that in today's game.
Number 7 will come in to attempt a field goal from the 19.
And again, hats off to the Houston defense, just coming out here and just making their presence felt in every asset of Mexico City's offense, as they shut down Ray Bentley and made sure that they were a force to be reckoned with today.
Field goal good from 36. Houston adds a little more wood to the fire, as they'll end up with a 47-20 victory. And as you were complimenting the Houston defense, you got to give it up to defensive coordinator, Hall of Famer Eddie Gage. He put the defensive plan together. He said openly before the game that their plan was to shut down Ray Bentley and the rest would fall into place, and it definitely did today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fairly certain he's under 50 yards rushing today. We'll have to wait until the final, the post-game show there to get the final stats, but I'm fairly certain he is below 50 yards rushing.
And this is the back-to-back upsets of potential playoff teams for Houston, as they grinded out a 21-20 victory over Chicago last week, and now they come in here this week at home and blow out Mexico City. There is momentum in H-Town towards the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be incredibly nervous if I were the Alaska Storm, just based off of how Houston has played the past 2 weeks.
Wilson down the field. That's a great pass in traffic, cut by Mike Daggs. And with 13 seconds left and no timeouts, this will be the final play of the game. Well, he'll spike it. We'll get one more play.
Just kind of save face here. Maybe get a little bit more points on the board. Maybe pad the stat sheet a little bit. But yeah, Michael, you got to give player of the game to Leroy Brown. Like he
I,
just came and showed up today.
I don't think that you can give it to anybody else but Leroy Brown. This will be the final play of the game with 8 seconds left. And Wilson spins out of a sack and can't avoid the second sack. And how fitting is that the game ends with a sack? The Houston Hyenas all over the Mexican Tex today, 47-20 is your final score. And I was going to wait till the postgame show to bring it up, Eric. 0 turnovers in the entire game.
I can't remember the last time we had a ball game like that. That's incredible. And then on top of that, the score being as large as it is, this was a good ball game played by both sides. Mexico City just didn't have it today. This was all Houston and all their game plan. Hats off to them as Kentez Johnson threw for over 350 yards and 5 touchdowns today.
Yeah, I think that the league office may give player of the game to Kentez Johnson because he had so many passing yards and he passed for 5 touchdowns because he had 2 of them to Toby Geeslin, the rookie, who had an impressive game, by the way, 35 yards and 2 touchdowns. As you see,
even Warren Murray got over the century mark as well.
As you see, another one of those long runs. That could have been he was robbed of 4 touchdowns twice. Once by a diving play by Hantayumi and once by a diving tackle by Funokawa at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, I agree. That one for sure should have been number 4. He just didn't quite have enough gas to get in there. And then this was an impressive play by DR Sim towards the end. But I think that it should be Leroy Brown. I wouldn't be surprised if Kentez Johnson gets it, but the majority of those yards that Johnson had through the air were to Leroy Brown.
You see the stats and highlights going across your screen just for the final time. Let's wrap this one up. For producer Cabot Irvine and co-commentator Eric Vincent, I have been your play-by-play commentator Michael Cirillo, signing off from Houston, Texas. A big win for the Hyenas. Player of the game is Leroy Brown. Woo-hoo! 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. That'll be it from us. Tune into all the games on the 11 Sports Network tomorrow, and we'll see you next time.